Well, Hjalti is scorched, bruised, battered, tired, hungry, short on sweets, soggy booted, and ready to begin his true mission at last. You may have been wondering since episode 1 why it was that Hjalti came to be captured out here, and Ulfric too. Well, there is no answer for what Ulfric was doing near this town of Darkwater Crossing. We're told that the Imperials knew he was coming somehow, but this is never followed up on in any way, shape, or form, nor do we know why he was there in the first place in this remote village. Imperials versus Stormcloaks. How convenient for me. They aren't hostile to me just yet, but I'm going to level up and take a perk to have the cost of this Illusion Frenzy spell that I'm always using. And then, as the crowd is thinned out, looks like the Stormcloaks are winning. Good, I guess. I'll make them fight each other. Then I'll get in there and just switch to flames for a moment here because they're all in an area. It's more efficient this way. Just torch the lot of them. Yeah, that one won. You will from now on see me use this spell more often. The ranged one is more mana efficient. Let me just show you that. It's very close, but if you divide into 25 by 15 versus 8 by 5, you'll find that the Firebolt is the most mana efficient spell in the game. Well, this is very convenient for Hjalti, although he doesn't have much carrying capacity to spare. Ooh, an Amulet of Julianos, that's useless, but I guess it sells for money. Ordinary clothes, that will be handy. I could dress like a Stormcloak if I wanted to, but that might lead to questions when people might find out I'm not a real Stormcloak. New boots, though, I would appreciate. My current boots are soggy and will be sticking like sulfur for ages after having run through that pond to get away from a saber cat. So, drat, still no Amulet of Talos. I've had terrible luck with those. At least this scaled helmet is worth some money. And these things are too, but I really want that Amulet of Talos. It's a very valuable item and I just can't seem to find one anywhere. Anything new here? No. Nope, not on this one either. Oh well. Well, when Hjalti gets nearer town, he's going to switch to civilian clothes. Because unlike Ulfric, I have a reason for my character to be out here. That little mine thing there is Darkwater Crossing. You see, I said before that Hjalti is a member of the College of Whispers, and their arch rival is the Synod. Now, it just so happens there's a fort full of mages right next to Darkwater Crossing. So I decided that those are Synod sympathizers, and one of his missions is to take them out before their influence spreads any further. Get these wolves taken out. Nice shot if I do say so myself. Quick little pivot there. So, Hjalti wants to approach, looking like an ordinary fellow, so that if they have any spies around here, they don't suspect anything is up, and they can never trace it back to the College of Whispers. Let me just get behind a rock here and change. Then wipe them all out, and get away before anybody knows what happened. And wait for cover of darkness, of course. Switch to my new fur boots. Splendid, except for the hood. Let me take off that hood, which looks so suspicious. Nothing out of the ordinary here. It really does annoy me that nothing that we really come across in... Oh, there's another one. Fine. Nothing that really happens in the intro cinematic makes any bit of difference at all. Nobody can see me doing magic out here. You know, the thing with Ulfric being captured because they knew he was coming never followed up on. The thing with, Alduin attacking the city never really followed up on. We don't ever find out why he did that. None of it really makes sense or fits together, but they made us sit through like 30 minutes of that nonsense. Could have done much, much better. The town of Darkwater Crossing could be much, much better itself. There's really nothing going on here. There is a mine. It's Corundamore, so that's worthless. There is like a quest to go rescue some lizard from a cave up the falls there, but that cave is horrible and there's no real benefit to it. Nobody in town really seems to care much, other than like the kid, I guess, who I used to tell stories to. They're all in the mine right now. Well, let me eat like a fairly sparse dinner out here, early dinner. I'm running very low on good food supplies, and I've been completely out of sweets other than my precious Elsewhere fondue for far too long. So, wait for cover of darkness, and then make my approach to the fort. They'll never know what hit them.
So, out of character, in case it wasn't clear, this place has nothing to do with the Synod. That's just me patching up some nonsense on Bethesda's part. It will be a great place for me to demonstrate some of the intricacies of mage versus mage combat, especially now that they have the Atronach Stone. Also, there's a fantastic item there for other kinds of characters. I'll show you where to find that.
Let me get across the bridge. Now, this is the northern route to Iverstead here, and it's quite dangerous. Let me demonstrate. This is why I said not to go this way. That there is a saber cat. Let me switch to my kind shout just in case I need it so it doesn't sneak up and instant kill me. Usually it's over there, but it just kind of lurks around here and is very, very dangerous. Alright, leave me alone for now, but those things are aggressive. It's best to keep an eye on them. Unlike bears, which are fairly passive most of the time. Well, let me change back into my effective clothes now that I'm out of sight. I guess this is a slightly better amulet for me, but it's not even really worth the bother. How happy I would be to get an Amulet of Talus. Ah, wolves. Or maybe just one. I'm going to gamble that there's at least two there, and I'm simply not seeing one. So I'll send a frenzy his way, and if there is only one, well, it's an easy fight anyway. Huh. Let's see. Attacking anything? No, there really only was one. Fine. Then switch to sparks to take this guy out more easily now that he's almost dead. Alright. Make my approach. That fort is it. Fort Amel. A very small fort in a very convenient location. So, for the character who will be using the kind of item I'm going to point out here, it's an extremely good place to go early. Well, I'm going to eat some Elsewhere fondue, psych up for this dangerous battle. I'm also going to equip some spells to let me sneak in closer. Muffle from Illusion, and of course Detect Light to see what's in there. So I haven't really talked much about Muffle. It's an illusion spell. Unlike most illusion spells, it gives you XP even if no enemies are around, as you just saw there. I won't be using that to grind, I'll only use it when it makes a certain amount of sense to be casting that, but it's good for people to know, I guess. Prevents them from hearing our footsteps. You can still hear them, but they can't. Matic does still make a sound, but it's fairly quiet. 2, 3... Get a little closer. Yeah, they might have heard something. Alright, there's at least 4 in there then. That's dangerous. I'll get away here. They'll lose sight of whatever they heard sooner or later. Great. Hopefully they're not still on alert. We'll go in kind of a slightly wide circle, though I don't want to get close to whatever's in this cave here. Move along the road. It's very bright because it's a Skyrim night, even though it's foggy, but I'm going to assume in character is actually like dark, and he's having trouble seeing, and they're having trouble seeing. Pretty woods here. I love Skyrim's forests. I love hiking, you know, IRL too, as they say. But let's see. So there's a sentry. There's 2 sentries. Let's see if I can make the one up there run inside and fight people in there. Easy to make shots against stationary targets. Don't think he knows where I am, so it shouldn't bother me too much. Maybe I'll get him off the wall, then while he's fighting someone else I can deal with this fella. Don't want to waste my Elsewhere fondue time, but I also don't want to lure too many mages to myself. They're extremely dangerous targets for a couple of reasons. Yeah, Frenzy's just about worn off on that guy. Let's see if I can alert just this guy. Yes. Alright, Fire Mage. He's very dangerous then. Can I get him over here? I want to fight him at a distance where I can dodge his shots and where he won't alert the other mage. Come on. That's it. Good boy. I'm going to close in here. Summon on top of him. And you can see I'm gaining back mana as he fights me. Because my Atronach perk, I've just mentioned that it, you know, gives you penalties to, or bonuses to your magicka, and penalties to your magic regeneration. But it also gives you 50% spell absorption, which I should clarify does not work like resist magic exactly. Fire mages aren't resistant to fire or anything like that, so I can go ahead and do this to him. Although I should be cautious. Oh, he's backing up. That's not good for me. Don't want him getting away. The big problem fighting mages, besides that they're dangerous on offense, is that they're also dangerous on defense because they're absurdly tough. They're tougher than bandits for no good reason. Oh, he's cowering. That's perfect. So he won't heal himself then, because he's going to die too soon. That worked out very neatly. Great. So regular mages are tougher than regular bandits for some reason, by like a substantial margin. And apprentice mages are far stronger than bandit outlaws, which already take me like 2 whole mana bars to kill. So at least if it just went with direct destruction. Alright, better get that guy back in there and fighting people. Don't know why the rest didn't get alerted by that. By him, I mean. He should have known they were in there and started attacking them. Alright, where are your buddies? There's got to be others. I need to start a fight in there so they start chewing each other up, because I can't take them out on my own. I'm willing to make a... There we go. Now a fight's starting between them. Great. Now I'll just keep the battle going as best I can. I think the other guy who I saw was way up on a tower. He's casting a ward, so he's just wasting mana, but it will prevent me from furying him, as long as he's facing that direction. Is he just running back and forth? Oh, fury is worn off, I guess. So where is he going? He's going this way? Oh, he knows I'm there. That's not good, but I hope I can get him to fight the other guy. And then... summon on top of him if I can? Nah, I can't really do that. Shooting lightning... Novice Storm Mage. There we go. Alright. That's a decent location for it. Novice Storm Mage, and what kind of other mage is this? Apprentice Fire Mage again? Okay. Oh, he's a Dunmer. Great. Well, you're not great, but it's going to work out. So I'm going to try to drain his mana, and of course, you know, he again is a Dunmer, so he's resistant to fire, so I won't be using fire. What I really want is him to be out of mana so he can't heal himself. It's the other big problem with mages. They heal themselves up faster than you can kill them on Legendary. Major nuisance there. Like that. I might need to get myself some mana back somehow. Because my Afternock will be running out because he's so resistant to it. We've almost got him. Great, that worked out neatly. Okay. 2 down. 1 remains over there, if my memory serves, from where I saw the person with Detect Life. Afternock suck at fighting up obstacles, so I better get my mana back, run up and summon a new one if the guy is still up there. I won't do Detect Life again because it costs so much mana. Alright, up I go. Nice mage. Okay, so he's not going to be resistant to fire. Great. Their ward spells completely negate all your shouts. Very, big problem with it. And now it's the only real use of wards for the player. It's just negating shouts like that. Again, trying to drain their magic so they can't do too much healing. You can also rely on stunning if they're too busy to be casting wards or if you're behind them, because wards only work in one direction. Another thing that sucks about them. Yes, if her mana is out, she won't be able to heal herself, and it's a much easier fight. There we go. Alright. Poison, that's weird. It looks like they're sacrificing Stormcloaks or something. That's also weird. Never really followed up on. I don't think these sacrifice Stormcloaks can have Amulets of Talos, but maybe worth a shot, because I don't know for sure that they don't. Let me check how much longer I have on my Elsewhere Fondue. 6 minutes. That is not a whole lot of time, so I won't spend much time looting this outside right now. Let me also check, do I still have... for not much longer. Okay. I think I saw another shrine over there. Ooh, a chest. I did see a shrine. Okay. Shrines of Julianos are usually pretty worthless. It just gives bonus magicka, but when my other one is about to run out, I might as well take it. This fort has 2 interior zones, and the important one here is the prison. So I'm going to summon a new Atronach out here, where I still have full magic regeneration. Then I'll get in there. There's usually 2 pretty tough mages in here, but hopefully I can survive them at the very least. So the other thing I was trying to say I didn't have a chance to, is that the Atronach's resistance is not like 50% damage reduction. It is 50% of the time you block all the damage or other effects. Alright, good, they should be fighting each other now. That's what I want. Hit the Storm Mage. What's the other one? Hit the Storm... can't. I just want to make them all come out about evenly. Oh, she's the Dark Elves. Hate Dark Elves. This is not going to work out so perfectly. I'm going to need to re-fury them, probably. There we go. Alright. Mana's running low. Come on. Alright, this is working out moderately well as they attack each other. Now me. Need to get enough mana back to finish her, so she can't... Oh, the other guy's still alive. That's unfortunate. Alright, that one's down. This one... Yep, I better drink a potion so I can finish him off immediately. Don't want him healing himself again. As he's about to do. So I really better step on it here. Drat! Didn't work. Okay. This just got more complicated. So... going to need to... drink some more potions, I guess. Enough to summon up an Atronach. Finish him with that if I can. Because again, I don't want to rely upon my luck-based resistance to his magic. If he just, hits me a couple times with his powerful lightning spell, I'll be dead. Can't have that. He's almost down. Hopefully he's out of mana now and can't heal himself. Them switching to their knives is not a surefire sign that they're out of mana, but it's often a good clue. This is the important treasure here. I'll talk about why that's so great later on, but I'll do most of my looting later on. Weird. Actually, what's weird is that more humans don't have human flesh, but never mind that. How much longer? 4 minutes. Not bad. Okay, there's one more zone to clear out, then I'll go back and loot everything. Like a reasonable person rather than an RPG character, doing the looting after the battle is won. Alright, get my magicka back. This next zone has a whole lot of mages in it. So it's dangerous, but with the protection of my Atronach Stone and my other power, which I want to demonstrate here, I should be good. So there's another reason that I played a Breton, besides their handy magic resistance and decent initial bonus to some magical skills. And that is that... Oh. Hold still. Too much damage there. Alright. Is he... It's hard to tell what he is. Gonna frenzy another one if I can. That one. Great. Stay back a bit though. Oh, I've leveled up again. That'll be good if I take a bunch of unexpected damage. Novice mages I can usually take down, but apprentice mages, that's, more or less impossible unless I'm... Let me take out this one. Come back here while my Atronach deals with the other one. See, as you can see, I can deal with one novice mage, but an apprentice mage is too tough. So I'm going to run her mostly out of mana. Actually, that won't really serve my purpose, what I'm trying to demonstrate here. Lots of poison recipes on these guys who never use poisons. How odd. Atronach struggle against these fire elves, but not fire elves, dark elves. Let me demonstrate my Breton power now. Oh. Yeah, they have massively boosted damage, unlike me. Where is it? Powers. Dragon skin. Now I'm completely impervious to magic. Not just like 50%, 100%. Because the Breton thing gives you plus 50% and it stacks linearly. So as long as you're casting spells on me, I will not run out of magic guy. The other thing to know is that it's not like you get the amount of mana it would cost you to cast that spell. You get the full... Oh wow, it's a lucky find there. Those things are rare. Neat. You get the full unreduced cost of the spell. Like to demonstrate here, my destruction spells now are at half price, right? This one used to cost like 30 something or so, but now it's half. But if I absorbed a Firebolt spell, I would get back the full 30, not the 14 it would cost me. So you can eventually sling back more spells than you get hit with. Alright, I believe that's all the mages cleared out from here, so I will loot their fortress, hopefully find some food. Depth chest here. And so, you can see, I'm sure that, for a mage, spell absorption is wonderful, but it's amazingly good protection for anybody else, too. Just 50% reduction of magic incoming damage overall is pretty darned awesome. Warriors love that. They don't take any kind of penalty from regeneration because they don't use that. These are valuable. Cheese. I have been short on cheese. That's an enchanting book, so I won't... Oh. Won't use the enchanting book. Not really worth it. Anything in these bags? Red apples. Hooray. Tomatoes. Yeah, okay. Yeah, green apples. Now, I myself actually love Granny Smith apples, but Hjalti wouldn't like their sourness. It's kind of a wuss. So, that's that taken care of. A cooking pot. If only I had some moon sugar to celebrate this, but I better save my last remaining elsewhere fondue. Stuff is a valuable resource because Kuchita are so hard to find. I already have plenty of Alto wine. Where do you keep the food in this place, guys? Ooh, ectoplasm. That's a pretty rare ingredient. Darn it. Money! Fire salts. You get those from Flame Atronachs usually. Books. Various kinds. Chests. Anything in there? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, some pretty good loot, all in all. But the important thing, really, is this tome here. It is the only copy of Bound Bow in the entire game that you're guaranteed to find. Again, you can get them from merchants at much, much higher levels, but like it'll take you a long time to grind up to like 50 or so conjuration skill to get that. So if you're using bound weapons, you really want to hit this fort early, get that tome, and then you're set. I've mentioned before that bound swords with a single perk become as good as Daedric swords. Well, bound bows with that single perk become better than Daedric bows. By a lot, it's not even close. They are, in fact, the most lethal bow in the game. No contest. They do basically more damage than Daedric bows per shot. They have massively faster firing speed, and you get, whenever you cast it, 100 free Daedric arrows. Basically the best kind of arrow you can possibly make. So, which are incredibly rare and hard to find. So absolutely ludicrous DPS compared to all other bows. I don't think there's anything to do in this prison area here, but just thought I would check in case I misremembered that. Alright, so just remember, guys, if you ever want to use bound weapons, go to Fort Amel along this road between Whiterun and Iverstead, and always hit up the prison area. You can ignore the main one if you want to. Just go over here to this bucket on the left side, and that's where you get your spell tome from. Jeez, grilled leeks, yeah. Alright, fine. Hjalti's going to eat again before he hits the road. There's a long, long way to go. Because it's time that Hjalti continued the other part of his real mission. He was sent here, after all, to establish friendly diplomatic contacts, if not better. I forgot I don't need that thing. With the College of Winterhold. Now, Winterhold is all the way up here. It's a long walk. I'm going to be going through Ulfric's hold of Eastmarch on the way. I'll probably stop at his capital of Windhelm, stock up on supplies, maybe take my measure of Ulfric and see what kind of man he is and whether he'll be a useful ally or a dangerous enemy. Then move on up to Winterhold, where I'll begin basically the Mage's Guild questline. Which, appropriately, has some very, very good gear and other rewards for mage characters, and is in fact the best way to get numerous kinds of spells. Well, a goat is running. That could mean there's a dangerous animal over here. Yeah, there's a human, so probably not. Or humanoid. Let's see what it is. Probably a farmer on his way to Solitude to join the Imperial Legion. No, the courier.
No time for chatting.
No, he doesn't know I'm anybody important. Off I go. There's nobody who could possibly, pin this series of murders on Hjalti. So, everything is good and that guy can live. Mills are common along Skyrim's roads. They don't do much until you have the Hearthfire add-on, which I do have but I've never really used much, but then you can do things like using the saw lumber and whatnot. They're a nice touch. It's good to have people doing, actual real-world kinds of work and whatnot. Adds a realistic touch to the game. I'm going to test goat damage, I think. I've been curious about that since last time. Alright, bring it on. Hopefully it doesn't instant kill me. Ouch, that actually kind of hurts. On Legendary, anyway. Of course, it's trivial to avoid. They don't really make these animals hard to dodge like they did wolves, which will lunge at you. So you would never actually be injured by a goat like that. Let me get my Detect Life spell ready. There might be a bear or something like that down there. No, it's just a fox. Mud crab in the water. Mud crabs.
Back in Cyrodiil, talking about how much one hates mud crabs is the iconic national sport. Everybody constantly practices with random passerby to stay in tip-top shape for the competitions. I've fought mud crabs more fearsome than you. I ran into a mud crab the other day. Horrible creatures. I avoid them whenever I can. Goodbye.
That sounds like a very dangerous animal behind me. Probably about to instant kill me, unless I'm very careful. Yes! Phew. Again, you can just get ambushed from behind with no chance to really see an animal coming, and then it can kill you in one shot. Legendary is difficult. Wolves. Make them fight each other, because I'm not at full mana. Did I miss? Yeah, alright. They keep dodging without knowing that I'm there. They're investigating. Animals and humans will usually go to places that you just hit and kind of investigate the impact zone, which makes them easy to hit with your next shot usually. I'm going to switch to flames for this one. It's easier to use against several targets. There are better area of effect fire spells later on, but when you have a bunch of little guys, this is an efficient way to take them all down. Great. That went pretty well for fighting 3 wolves. Could have been a little better, but not bad. Again, I'm going to give myself a couple seconds to get some magicka back so I don't walk into like a saber cat ambush. Or there's usually a predetermined bear somewhere around that cabin area, but I can wander up to here. Might even be a cave bear, I forget. That up ahead is the Windhelm stable, so I'm getting close there. This fort I'm passing over here, which you can't quite see up the cliff, is Morven Scar. Plays a role in the Sanguine quest, which I usually don't do. I won't be using summon saves, of course, and that thing gives you a summon staff. Plus, I just hate the quest. I generally dislike most of the Daedric quests in this game. Ah, there's Windhelm. So, this is one of my least favorite provinces in Skyrim. It's kind of like, I guess it has a certain bleak majesticness to it, but it's really nothing special, nothing too fun. Not much to do here, really, and, of course, everybody in Windhelm is, a racist jerk, so that's annoying. And unless you're a Stormcloak, there isn't really that much to do here. It's not a terribly useful city for, buying and selling things. Like, Whiterun has, 4 smiths. Riften has a whole bunch of general goods merchants. Windhelm really has nothing special in that regard. There are a few useful quests, things like that here. Like the White File quest will begin here. And in a few more visits, I'll be able to begin a fun quest called Blood on the Ice, assuming it doesn't glitch. It's one of the game's glitchiest quests. The city has a lot of history, although some of it is a little bit contradicted.
It's no secret the Aretino boy is doing.
And that's the other reason I'm here.
Trying to call the Dark Brotherhood. But who's going to stop him? Me? I'll have no part of that.
This city, as Mara was saying to me just the other day, is like a labyrinth. There's a whole weird stone maze in 3 dimensions, and it's often hard to find your way around until you're quite familiar with it. I still don't know where absolutely everything is in it, because I go there so rarely. But at this point, I have a pretty good idea of the layout. So, first thing we see is a bunch of racist Nords berating a Dark Elf. Now, I should perhaps clarify something here. I myself hate Dark Elves, but Hjalti has nothing against them whatsoever. He hates High Elves who are pretenders to the title of the best mages in Tamriel, but Dark Elves don't really claim to be as good as Bretons or High Elves. Well, you can brawl with this guy, but that's not really my fight, so.
You hate the Dark Elves. Are you here to bully us and tell us to leave?
Even if I was, I wouldn't say that to her face.
City, then. Windhelm's a haven of prejudice and narrow thinking, unworthy of one such as you.
Sounds like I've made a credulous friend today.
All right then.
Well, there's the inn. I'll definitely want to be getting a room there, although I'm not tired yet, having just slept so recently. For so many hours.
Come on in. We've got
Elda here is a racist too, like most of the Nords in the city.
This here's Candlehearth Hall.
Name for a candle upstairs.
And there's a bed for rent on the... Did you see the candle above the fire upstairs?
It sounds cool to have this magical eternal candle, but as far as I'm aware, there's no follow-up or connection to that whatsoever. So, kind of a wasted opportunity there.
When word came that he'd fallen, his son Durot lit the candle in his honor. Nobody knows why it still burns.
This would also seem more magical if this game wasn't full of inexplicably burning torches and whatnot in every single underground ruin by the 100. Let's see if I can get some better food.
For the hungry.
Well, ale is useful to me. Blackbriar mead. Meat. I haven't had much of that in a while. More meat sweets. Hooray. Everything is looking up. I almost feel like drinking some honey brew mead to celebrate that. Hearthfire added the option for the Dragonborn to actually be a milk drinker. It was not possible before. Yeah, really not much on the menu.
I'll show you to your room. Right this way.
Some interesting characters upstairs sometimes.
I'm a sailor on the North Wind. We're laying over.
She's not one of them. There's that drunken bully.
How can Elda hate the Dark Elves when she knows so little about them? See you around, handsome.
Mercenary over there. Apple pie. If only she would sell that.
Isabella's gone. She was such a helpful young... I'm a writer by
He doesn't tell me much about this, but there's a series of murders going on here. Why can't I have this? Anyway, he'll send you out a fetch quest kind of thing.
Try the corner club in the Grey Court.
Yeah, Susanna's like undermining the establishment.
We
All
ought
right.
to dig a big hole. Throw all them dark elves and Argonians in it.
So what's the news on
Tear
the
each other to pieces.
So Ulfric forces all the other races in the city to live in ghettos.
On the streets. And Viola Giordano won't be alone.
Well, I've already eaten, so let me just take a quick nap or so until, morning. Then I'll eat a breakfast then, and then I'll get about my business in the city. I noticed they left valuable potions around here, and inexplicably, they leave like food items in your room that you're not allowed to eat. I have never understood that part. Alright, well, start the day with some mead, an apple, beef, I guess, some bread. Alright, need more meat, again. I would love to steal these things, but they're in my room, so it'd be too easy to pin that on me. Nobody saw me dart across there into this room here, where, oh, disappointing, they don't have much here. I do at least have some additional food supplies. Dum-de-dum-dum. Yes, got in unobserved. Some nice cheese, more drinks. Ah, maybe some valuables in here. Hjalti wouldn't steal from somebody poor, but this person runs an inn, so they're clearly pretty well to do. Also kind of rubbed them the wrong way with money. I can use that. Most things are not worth stealing because you can't sell things that you've stolen unless you're in the Thieves Guild. But things that you can use are good things to steal. Like I can drink that, I can eat this. Sadly, no potions in here. Anybody in here? No, how odd. There's only potions in my own room. That's unfortunate.
I was one of the best soldiers in the Stormcloak army.
This guy's like a drunken, boastful racist. So, out I go. I'm going to hit the market square. But first, let me see if I can find a beggar so I can get some better prices. All the big cities have at least one beggar in them. Always good to hit them up first. They'll often be warming themselves over fires in this city. So I know where there's another fire that she might be warming herself at. Let's see. I think Hjalti just believes what the beggars say about how Talos rewards the generous, which is pretty true.
From the college in Winterhold.
Doesn't really look old, but
Spare a coin. Talos rewards the generous. Oh, thank you.
so there's the Palace of the Kings, where Ulfric makes his base. And these things are placards detailing the history of some of the most famous and important kings in Skyrim's history. They're not really readable here, but you'll find out from me about some of those characters anyway. So down here, actually, let me go this way first, is a slum where the Dark Elves are forced to live. The Argonians aren't even allowed in the city. They have to live out in the docks where it's freezing cold all the time. I mean, they're reptiles. They're the least tolerant people of that, but Ulfric is not a terribly considerate fellow.
Ulfric wants Skyrim for the Nords. Doesn't trust.
Where is this conversation going? Oh, there we are. This guy's like about the only Nord in the city who's not really a racist, trying to improve conditions for the Dark Elves. And if you oust Ulfric and join the Imperials, then he becomes Jarl and actually tries to start fixing things. Although they don't actually change the layout of every person in the city. So
that's all I ask. With your help, we have a chance to make a better life for ourselves here. For that, I thank you.
So, and we go here.
Got something for just about everybody in here. Give a holler if you have any questions.
This is the general
All
goods
my
merchant.
goods are legitimate, which is more than I can say for some.
Bizarre
Of course,
opening
nothing
line.
here is stolen. Only a careless, shameful, idiotic fetcher would do something as stupid as to buy pilfered goods. Oh, by Azura, I've made a terrible mistake. I bought a gold ring, and Viola Giordano has been missing a ring that looks just like it. It's not that easy. She'd go to the Jarl if she knew I was even remotely involved. You have to get it to her some other way. Look, it's dangerous. But if you sneak the ring into her house, put it in a dresser or something, I will make it worth your while. Some may call this junk.
Hjalti has no fondness for the Dark Elves either, of course, just no irrational hatred of them. And perhaps an enemy of my enemy is my friend type thing against the High Elves.
It's not any better than what I already kind of have. I could use some more of these Magicka potions, I guess. Just had to consume a few before. And still no amulets of Talos. Let me start by selling the things that are hard to sell, like dragon bones. And maybe offload a dragon scales. I'll lose a little bit of gold, but it's worthwhile.
Don't let Viola catch you.
Let me turn on this quest. Viola is a crazy woman who wanders around talking about the local serial killer. Open your off Dragonborn. This is the other thing I'm here to do.
Her house.
So, off back toward the market, and hopefully I'll find Viola somewhere around here. Wander around distributing flyers about the serial killer. There she is.
Be on the lookout. The butcher could be around.
Unfortunately, I can't really ask any questions about this, which is a bit of a wasted opportunity to gather clues before the quest began.
Oh, really? So that dark elf took my ring? So typical of his kind. I think the Jarl should hear about this. Maybe double his taxes. No, triple them. That should teach those people a lesson.
Well,
You
Hjalti
deserve
begins to
something for
regret this
sniffing out
decision.
that thief. Here.
Oh, well, he regrets it
That murderer
about
could be
400 septims
anyone.
less.
This killer is kind of a Jack the Ripper type character. Targets women, mutilates the bodies, takes organs, things like that from them. Very unpleasant kind of character. And I'm kind of glad they don't make the quest available immediately, have you kind of wait around and have the suspense build up before you can finally get started with it. Even if it does sometimes disappoint in the execution.
Forge. I think I saw it there.
Oh, yes.
Really like a despicable fellow. So alchemists are the other people who buy dragon bones, along with general goods merchants, but they're too useful to waste them on.
Master, you're far too old for this sort
This place is called the White File, but you can't actually read that on the sign. So it begins as White File quest, which is moderately useful, and I probably will do it eventually, I just won't prioritize it. I do have my Amulet of Zen. Yeah, good.
You see, you're not well.
At this point, now that I'm close to all these stores and whatnot, I'll soon drink my potion of haggling. It's a good time to use it now, because I have so much stuff to sell. Only lasts a few seconds, so I wouldn't have used it just for that dark elf.
I would have found it by now. And so, just a man's life work is all. I finally derived the location of the White File, but this doting busybody won't let me get it.
I'm lying, of course. I plan to keep it for myself.
It's good to know there are some people out there who are willing to help an old man. It's buried with its maker, Corral Mill,
This guy is
in
quite a
long
magician.
forsaken cave to the west of here. Corral Mill was a crafty one, even in death. You would need the skills of a master alchemist to reach its resting place. Luckily for you, I've already made the mixture. Here.
This part's convenient, but the quest is still uncompletable for a very long time.
Don't dally.
So I won't bother starting it until it's closer to being
I've wasted
doable.
enough time arguing with my useless assistant here. The legendary bottle, forged in the days when Skyrim was just starting its turn to ice.
This is what I was talking about back in episode 6 or so, with Skyrim not always having been cold.
Made of the magically infused snow that first fell on the throat of the world. It is said that the file will replenish whatever fluid is placed inside.
Doesn't really do that. I thought that would let you duplicate potions or something, but no, it just generates potions of a certain kind.
Pure expression of my
One per day or something like that. Moderately useful because they're good potions. But...
poetry.
Well, I'm going to now drink my potion right in front of them. They don't seem to notice that you're drinking a potion that'll make them give you better prices.
Ah, so you're an alchemist then.
Let me offload that and that. See if he has any useful potions for me. Magicka, potence. That's a solid thing to consider, but maybe when I have a little bit more money. I already have plenty of those and one of these, so I'm good there. Solid idea, but there'll be better potions for that later on, and again, I'll have more money later. Potion of Plentiful Magicka. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm willing to spend some money on. Alright, so I'll sell off that thing, and I'll keep the Daedra Heart. Hjalti knows immediately that this is an incredibly valuable find. Useful for many kinds of quests and whatnot. And very annoying to find. But eventually, that's pretty worthless. Stamina is always garbage for me. This is also pretty useless. That I could potentially use, I guess. Not really enough money to sell most of these things here. Yeah, I think I'll just call that good.
Hope to see you again soon. May the
So,
age guide you to the fire.
only known by
There's no glory in
some
war.
people, most people maybe, this woman here is also a general goods merchant.
I don't haggle. If you want a lower price, look elsewhere.
She does
Trinkets, odds
haggle
and
same as
ends,
everybody
that sort of
else,
thing.
so she's just a crazy lady. Alright, do you have an Amulet of Talos? No. I've had such bad luck finding those, even though the Stormcloaks didn't have any. Why did they join the rebellion? Well, let me sell things that are hard to sell to people first. Garnets, not many people can buy those. There's a court mage around here who can buy that. This is a startlingly rare ingredient. You think that all humans have it, but they don't. Just offloading it because they don't want to be carrying the creepy stuff around. Potions. I was trying to sell some potions, but was having trouble with that. Let me sell off these. And any kind of apparel that wouldn't be bought by a blacksmith. All of these robes to be in that category. And those robes. And my sulfurous boots. Look how many Imperials I've killed.
Thank you for your custom.
There's the blacksmith.
Everyone says
Again, he wants to be better than the Orlin Greyman. It's kind of tiresome.
pretty much
Any good
anything
apparel
to
here?
suit your needs.
Those are tempting. That is a lot of fire resistance. That is a lot of fire resistance. Let me see what else he's got. And what? Yeah, I'm taking those things. Sweet. Alright, you can have my other boots then, I guess. And I won't be using this, that, or that, or that, or any of these. And I won't be using shields, of course. And take that and all of those. And do you have any lockpicks? I still feel a little bit short on those. No. Alright, so unfortunately there are no mage boots in this game. There are also no mage gloves, even though some will exist in like the level list, they just weren't made possible to spawn in the new level. So you have to just kind of go with some kind of generically useful boot or glove, like resisting an element. Alright, I've hit up most of the stores, but I heard something about there being a Nude Nissus Corner Club where you get better drinks. They might also have better food. Maybe they're somewhere along... Oh, what are these people talking about?
Then it's true, what everyone is saying. That Aventus Artina...
No, I heard something about this.
Trying to summon the Dark Brotherhood?
Oh, Grimvar. Always with the nonsense. No, of course.
Let me just get out some books that I'm reading, maybe. Yeah. Don't mind me. Courage makes people who are afraid keep fighting. It's not really that useful. I guess I could have gotten that pilgrim killed with it, fighting the troll, but that's the one use in the game, pretty much. So it is true.
Then I'm right. I knew it. He's trying to have somebody killed.
All right. I won't deny it, child. What you heard is true.
What I've saw of that orphanage suggests that the old woman deserves to die, but I'll see what I can learn from this person. Hjalti really wants to find out more about the Dark Brotherhood, whether they'll be useful allies or not. They're more or less wiped out in Cyrodiil as far as he's aware, so... Yeah, dum-ta-dum-tum. Again, I won't be using Sneak to avoid fights, but I will be using it for role-playing purposes, like I would not just walk into the house of some person who's calling assassins. There we go.
Grow on, you old crone. You'll get what you deserve. The Dark Brotherhood will see to that. Sweet mother, sweet mother.
So he's doing the creepy Dark Brotherhood ritual, alone in this house here.
Baptized in blood and fear.
He's supposed to be stabbing the heart, but not only he's fumbling that, he didn't even get the heart to be on the skeleton. Let me fix that for you. It'll be hard to get it to rest there, but...
Sweet mother, send your child unto
fine.
me for the sins of the unworthy. You've come at last! I knew you would!
This is a stupid dialogue option because I know what he's doing here.
It worked! I knew you'd come, I just knew it!
They could have perhaps done a better job with some of those animations of the people standing up.
The body and the things.
Oh, that's human flesh there, I think. Again, very rare.
Brotherhood. It took so long, so very long. But now that you're here, you can accept my contract. My mother, she died. I'm all alone now. So they sent me to that terrible orphanage in Riften, Honor Hall. The headmistress is an evil, cruel woman. They call her Grella the Kind, but she's not kind. She's terrible to
Child
all of
actors
us.
are
So I
not
ran
so
away
fantastic.
and came
He's not
home
awful,
and
but
performed the Black Sacrament. Now you're here, and you could kill Grella the Kind.
no more options. Okay, fine. I'll exit out and re-enter conversation.
It's Honor Hall Orphanage in Riften.
Well, he seems sure. Let me check.
I've never been more sure about anything in my entire life. Someone like Grella doesn't deserve to live one more day. She's a monster.
Can't argue with that.
She got sick last winter when the snows came, and she never got better. Not all year. One night, she fell asleep and never woke up. So now I'm all alone, and the Jarl said I had
Again,
to go to
Ulfric being
Honor
a
Hall
bad guy.
Orphanage. It's not fair.
He really should have an orphanage in his own, little kingdom here. Especially with the war he started going on.
Here. As much as I hated getting sent to Honor Hall, I really miss my friends there.
Well, I'm not asking for payment, but I will certainly take a few useful odds and ends off his shelves here. Anything in that knapsack? Won't take actual money from him. He seems to be like a poor kid here, but I could use food, and I'm sure he has some way to get it if he's been surviving here all this time. Alright, so out I go, hopefully undetected. And I wore a hood over my face, of course, for that. Dum-dum-dum, nothing to see here. So it doesn't seem like a priority to get to that very fast. Instead, I'll look for the new Nissa's Corner Club and then maybe see what this Ulfric fellow is. Whoa! Actually, like. Down in the Dark Elf slums is probably where their anything called New Nissus would be, because Nissus was a city, I believe, in Morrowind.
Come on in. Let me know if you need anything. I'll take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over. Apparently, some Nord women were murdered. Not sure why I should care.
What a charming fellow.
Where else would we be? When the Red Mountain burned, you could scarcely breathe in Morrowind. So we came west. Windhelm was the first city on that road.
Not really true. It should be Riften, actually. It has a capacity directly into Morrowind.
So unwelcoming, we may have kept walking. None of that matters to me. Until someone takes a Dunmer, I'll let Windhelm deal with its own problems.
Whatever.
Let's sate that appetite,
Alright, you got apple pies. Great. And no Eider cheese wheels. Meat. I have been short on that. But he is also short on that. Darn it. Well, grilled leeks, that's something. Can I sell him anything? He'll buy drugs. But that's useful to me. I may keep that around for when I tank a hit. Something like that. Maybe a sell this expensive wine. Not really to Hjalti's taste. That'll about do it. Let Hjalti find out more about Ulfric and whatnot.
Well, you see where we have to live. This forgotten alley. All the filth from the upper quarters flows downhill, like they say. Good luck getting one of the guards to help with anything.
Of course, non-Dark Elves complain about the guards being worthless here too.
See the squalor, but the High Lord of his mightiness couldn't find the time. If you need another drink...
Right. Well, let me go see the High Lord of his mightiness. Oh, by the way, having betrayed the Dark Elf in the other store doesn't really hurt my relationship with him. He'll like gripe and call me names when I go into a store, but he'll still buy and sell things from me. So here it is, the Palace of the Kings, where Skyrim's kings used to live for a very long time in their history, before the capital became Solitude.
Ulfric won't give us a straight answer.
And there's Ulfric himself.
He's a true Nord. He'll come around.
Don't be so sure of that. We've intercepted couriers from Solitude.
Wonder who they're talking
the
about.
Empire's putting a great deal of pressure on Whiterun.
And
What
would you have me do?
If he's not with us, he's against us.
He knows that. They all know that.
How long are you going to wait?
You think I need to send Bolgraf a stronger message?
All
By
griff.
message you mean shoving a sword through his gullet.
Whoa.
Taking his city and leaving him in disgrace would make a more powerful.
I can't have that. He's one of my main patrons here. If he's left in disgrace, wouldn't be so good for Hjalti. Creepy old caretaker.
Cleaning around the palace.
Let me slink around here and see if there's anything else I can investigate and find out. And also another court mage is back here from the big enchanting table there. He's asleep. He keeps odd hours, but you can sometimes buy and sell from it in the middle of the night. Not always.
Whatever I don't already know. Power's the crux of this world. There's always more of it to be had, if you look in the right places.
Very true, old man.
No, but then I don't have much need for Ulfric.
I like this guy more and more. Well, let's see about this.
I had you figured for a minute.
Nothing too good. Not high enough level to qualify for better robes just yet. I don't think I have this tome yet. I might as well pick that up now. And I really didn't have any light tomes either. It's not terribly useful. I just want to have those spells now that I have enough money for them. So, fast healing, fear, fire. The runes I still don't really even want. I guess I'll pick up a fire rune just to have at least one rune in case I have like a rare situation where I need to use one. But really, they're pretty trashy. I'll take that though. And that'll about do it.
Strength and steel
Let's see.
well and good.
I won't be doing that quest line, so I won't take that gem. Let me talk about some of these books that I've got here. So, Candlelight is an alteration spell. Unfortunately, gives you basically no experience. But creates a light that falls around you, makes you easy to see, but makes it easier for you to see other stuff, which is not useful because it's never dark in Skyrim. Conversely, oh, he didn't have Mage Light, did he? Did I buy that book? He did, I bought it. That was silly of me. Mage Light creates a light at a point, which doesn't reveal you necessarily, so that's a useful feature of it. But still, not terribly worthwhile. Then beyond those, other things. Well, Calm makes people stop fighting. It's kind of like Kind's Peace, but it works on other creatures too. Clairvoyance. Oh, I was going to sell things to him. Clairvoyance reveals like the quest locations for things that you're doing. And I can't demonstrate this safely indoors, so I won't try that. Well, let me get back to buying and selling. So, I want to offload
I think you'll appreciate
that and these. I'm not too keen to sell the things because I can do that easily once I get to Winterhold. Very valuable tome, but I won't be using archery, so not useful to me. And I want to keep one of those. I don't need those really anymore. I'll keep them just so I can change into civilian clothes when I need to. Sell that, and that, and that, and that. Alright, how much weight am I carrying? I'm down to pretty much no weight. Great. That's a good quote. So.
Hey, watch it.
Well, I heard these people discussing murdering my patron. They're still discussing that. They discuss that on a loop forever.
Fancy robes.
Says the person wearing robes.
I'm not much of a strategist. Gola, if you have any news of the Western Holds, take it to Ulfric. For Ulfric? Well, nothing official. He seems to value my thoughts, and I'm grateful for that. I don't really have a mind for war, and I think he likes having an untrained opinion.
So you're just like a useless crony hanging around here, and that's the kind of court he runs.
Dangerous out there.
Well, nothing that I've seen of this hold suggests to me that Ulfric is either a palatable person, not that that makes that much difference to Hjalti in a pinch, or a worthwhile ally. He seems largely incompetent and focused on the war to the exclusion of all else, which is not even prosecuting very well. And winning it sounds like would not actually be very helpful to Hjalti. There's the local priest of Arche. Priestess. And here's a temple to Talos. None of the other gods, because they don't seem to grasp the other gods are important too. But Hjalti is happy to have a chance to learn more about Talos.
You have only to pray at the altar. Talos, who in life was known as Tiber Septim, united Tamriel and
I know that.
founded the
Everybody
Empire.
knows that.
He was rewarded for his deeds by being joined with the Divines in eternal glory. The only mortal to do so.
Bzz. Okay, this person's an idiot. I have nothing further to learn from her. But from Talos,
but we may do our best to know them.
I can re-get my shout blessing. Still don't have the darned amulet, which would be great, but at least I have the shout cooldown time producing blessing. Well, with that, it's time for Hjalti to hit the road. He's a long way to go, and he has not too much daylight left. Should be enough if he hurries. The road to Winterhold is long, moderately dangerous, and quite dull. There aren't really many random encounter spots on the way. There's like one, really. There's lots of animal encounter spots on the way, and there's a dangerous fort full of absurdly high-level mages a lot of the time. So I gotta watch out for that. There's only really one path in or out of Winterhold. It's an extremely, extremely isolated hold. There is one that is more so. Down here in worthless little Falkreath. The Dark Brotherhood questline sends you there over and over and over again, but it's garbage for every other purpose, really. Nothing goes on there, no major questline directs you there. There are a few good quests you can pick up there if you can justify going there in the first place, but it's hard to find an in-character reason to do so. Well, off I go. This road will take me to Winterhold eventually. And let me equip some of these quests that I've got here, so I can demonstrate on the map where those things happen. Well, to Winterhold. Great. Because the White File quest is quite close up ahead here, in that cave, Forsaken Cave. Ah, wolves. As long as they don't move, I'll get them with that. Switch to my flame shouts. Close it. Did I miss them? No, there we go, okay. One for you, one for you. Well, really two for both. Kind of switched places there, but whatever, it worked out. I'll check their corpses in case they have rings, I guess. Silly though that may be. No. Okay. And perhaps I'll equip Detect Life so I can scout ahead a little bit. I'm always cautious about using that because it drains so much mana so fast. Yeah, there's... No, it's a goat.
In the future, I think I'll try to use these long walking periods to go in-depth about some game mechanics of various sorts, but need to prepare more before doing one of those lectures. Oh, somebody hostile looking, coming at me with swords. Well, I wonder who that could be. Sounds like a Khajiit. Maybe she's a moon sugar. I wonder what that was about. So, as instructed, you are to eliminate Hjalti Montrose by any means necessary. The Black Sacrament has been performed. Somebody wants this poor fool dead. We've already received payment for the contract. Failure is not an option. Astrid. I wonder who that is. Well, Hjalti is not terribly impressed with his first Dark Brotherhood assassin. She just kind of ran at him on an open road with swords drawn and was taken down easily. It's also another motive to do this assassination quest, so I can start striking back at them, perhaps. This Astrid person can get in line, because the list of people trying to kill me is very long.
Another mill of no particular importance. Some interesting dungeons around here, but I won't be doing those right now.
This hill is rather dangerous. It's often a wise idea to use Detect Life when going up a hill or other kind of blind obstacle in the wilderness, because otherwise you can often run into a saber cat at the top or something like that.
Goats. That's about it. Good. Up we go. So it really is like a very bleak, cold part of Skyrim. And besides all the animals, you can often find ice wraiths out here, even when they're not really a fair threat for your level. Ice wraiths, as long as you run away from them and see them coming in time, are not a real threat. They're pretty slow, but they deal absolutely ludicrous damage that will instant kill you well into your legendary playthrough. Another one of those strange mounds. I wonder what could be buried in there. If I had a shovel and the ground wasn't frozen, maybe I'd dig it out and see if there's treasure. That looks like wolves chasing a deer to me. They call them deer, but they are clearly more like, caribou, or reindeer, I guess they would be called. other way. And you know, the things they call elk are nothing like actual elk. They're kind of like moose, but actually I think more like a prehistoric kind of animal. Which is very, very cool and very fun. I love how there are so many prehistoric animals in Skyrim. I would never have thought of that setting in detail myself. More people trying to kill me. Well, get in line. This is just some kind of random hostile, adventure and just needed to erase. No real story explanation of what she's doing here. In way over her head. When I'm down at very little mana, I often like to just use little bursts of flames there. Well. No, I have aggroed something. Wolves, perhaps? Orcish weapons never really worth taking. They're not worth any money, and you can get better weapons from the start of the game, pretty much. Well, she had some poison that she couldn't put to effective use. That's strange. Couldn't cast any magic, so making me weak to it is useless. Another thing I have to watch out for is, ice wolves, or frost wolves, whichever they're called. Extremely powerful, extremely dangerous form of wolves that are now possible at my level. They are much, much, much tougher and more damaging than regular old wolves. It would kill me pretty easily. I can use kind shot to get away from them. So, that's going to be my ace in the hole as before. But, goats. That fortress there is extremely dangerous. It's inhabited with mages, and I've often encountered bizarrely high-level mages in there. Once, it's like level 20 or so character, I ran into a master conjurer. So, way out of my league at that time. Hopefully, I won't have anything like that happening now. But still need to tread lightly. Hjalti doesn't really like the look of the place, so perhaps he'll use his muffle spell if he can. Costs him most of his mana. That Optronak stone bonus giving me 50 more magicka is quite useful. Just to let me cast some expensive spells once, which is all I need to cast them usually. So I can still be seen. I think I see a skeleton up there. Yes. Still be seen, but I don't make noise, and that should make it easier to get around here. Give it a wide berth. Skeletons are a little threat to me, but necromancers might be, and I don't have too much daylight left to get to Winterhold, so I don't want to deal with any nonsense like that now. Fort Castav. Not a terribly useful place. That mage... Uh-oh, something's up ahead. Oh, it's a skeletal archer. I'll dodge back and forth a bit. Sprint ahead, try to get some cover. Not too worried about it. I haven't alerted anybody else. Ouch. Hit me pretty hard there, though. Try to run back and forth. Get around some possible cover. And there's often a random encounter up here, so better watch out for that. Oh, it's a harmless farmer probably going to join...
I'm on my way to Windhelm to join up with the Stormcloaks. Ulfric has the right of it.
Yeah, good luck. Guess there'll be one more skeleton in that fort next time I come through here. So, down this path I go. And again, probably going to do Detect Life. I'm considering hotkeying it, but all my hotkeys are kind of used up already with, having one spell for each element, and having a summon spell and a frenzy spell. And, of course, Foos is hotkeyed, and of course I have my Breton Power hotkeyed, so that uses up all the hotkeys pretty fast. I would like it if I could use 9 and 10. I'm not really sure why they made it so you can't. Oh well. Well, surprisingly few very dangerous encounters. That's nice. Makes for a smooth sailing kind of trip. The ocean is kind of, pretty beautiful, but no. Well, that's that. But other than that, it's a pretty dull part of Skyrim too. Nothing really going on in the town of Winterhold. That's the college there, spectacular, cool building. I love how it just kind of juts out with, clearly non-just physical means of support. But, ooh, Flame Atronak. Standing over a corpse. Well, got my boost of fire resistance now, and take this thing on. They're weak to ice, so I can finish it off pretty fast. I will not get close because I know from experience that Flame Atronaks explode upon death. Well now, let's see what that was about. It killed a Vigilant of Sendar. That is completely unbelievable. Well, not really. Useful gear. I've said before, these guys always carry valuable stuff. Flame Atronach's not so much. So, I murdered one of these people. They must not be terribly effective. But I've killed one Daedra now, other than summoned ones. This mine is garbage, it's an iron mine in there. Everybody's talking about how the mine is in fact terrible, and they're just hoping to strike gold, which is not really how mining works. You don't just like mine a terrible spot and hope you find some totally different mineral. Alright, making our final approach. That wolf there looks like a frost wolf to me. The coloration is that way. So, I'm going to quit my kind shout, I think. But I may take it on just to demonstrate their extreme toughness. Oh, who are these people on the road? Don't want to get in trouble with them if they're dangerous. Okay, this is absurd. So you find these Imperials escorting Stormcloak prisoners around in all kinds of holds of Skyrim, which you really should. It should happen in like Imperial holds and not out here in the heart of Stormcloak territory where they couldn't possibly have reached. To get here, these Imperials would have needed to... They don't control Dawnstar. The closest city, I guess, that they control is Morthal over here, which isn't even really one of their bases. They need to march all the way through here, through hostile Dawnstar, through this like roadless wilderness, which is also hostile to them, to get here, capture those people, and be on this road here. I don't buy it. They should have made it only happen in like appropriate holds instead of everywhere. Oh well, useless encounter. Imperials have nothing worthwhile for me to take. Ah, so there it is. It is indeed an ice wall. So let me demonstrate to you, I do not do much damage to these things. See ya. And it would rip me in half in just a couple of bites. Well, the sun is setting, but Hjalti is finally there. He'll investigate this little town more later on, but for now he needs to get to the college as quickly as he can, so he can try to get in today rather than be caught loitering around here by who knows who might be watching people on the roads coming in. Don't want people to find out that the College of Whispers is contacting the College of Winterhold. So I'll just pass through. Just another mage passing through.
Join the college and prance about casting spells all day.
Everybody in this little miserable town is complaining about it. He's like an alcoholic and lousy husband. Here we are.
Cross the bridge at
Here's
your
the
own
Master
peril.
Destruction Trainer for the game.
The way is dangerous, and the gate will not open. You shall not gain entry.
Not really using any training, but she's the best destruction person for some reason. This is a stupid question.
I am here to assist those seeking the wisdom of the college. And if, in the process, my presence helps to deter those who might seek to do harm, so be it. The more important question is, why are you here? Perhaps, but what is it you expect to find within?
Well, let me go with something that isn't like borderline criminal just to say.
Ah, the immortal plane. It is said to be the source of all magic. This is a noble goal, indeed. It would seem that the college has what you seek. The question now is, what can you offer the college? Not just anyone
Snooty
is allowed
high
inside.
elves.
Those wishing
Should
to
be happy to
enter
have
will show
another
some
Breton
degree of
here.
skill with magic. A small test, if you will. No, I'm afraid I don't know anything of the sort.
Well,
Excellent.
that test is basically impossible to pass. It's like one of the highest checks in the entire game.
Casting one at the seal on the ground here would be sufficient. I look forward to it.
Yeah, she asked you to do one of a small list of low-level spells at random. Don't worry if you don't know many spells yet. If you don't know the one in question, she'll teach it to you at a bargain price.
Well done indeed. I think you'll be a superb addition to the college. Welcome, apprentice. I'll lead you across the bridge. Once you're inside,
Everything's going according to plan.
Irvine, our master wizard.
Yes, introduce to the Master Wizard immediately.
Follow me.
This is going very well indeed.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed that episode. Killed a really wide variety of things this time, including my first Daedra and more importantly, Mudcrab. Have a great day, everyone!